All right, so for today's learning objective, we are going to make the distinction between what declarative knowledge is and what procedural knowledge is, and we're going to define those two terms, and we're essentially going to distinguish between knowing what to do and how to do, and we're going to implement that distinction between those two things. So essentially it's what we're able to describe versus enabling the person to actually perform a skill. So first we're going to begin with declarative knowledge and what that is. So declarative knowledge can be defined as knowing about what to do in a situation, and it's something that is verbalizable. So something that you can verbalize and describe with words, and honestly knowing about what to do. And in comparison and contrast with procedural knowledge is knowledge that enables one to perform a skill. And typically it's not verbalizable, or it can be described in words, or it's just difficult to be able to describe this certain type of action or skill. So with procedural knowledge, the main difference between that is that you need the skill and know what to do to perform the action. And with declarative knowledge, it's something that you can explain. With procedural knowledge, it's more of, I can do this action, but I can't really describe how I did that action. So an example is like playing a specific sport. You have the procedural knowledge to do so, and when we have like these elite athletes performing these different athletic feats, they're not really able to describe how they were able to do so. They just did it. So that's procedural knowledge. And really just expanding and evaluating between the two topics, we can put declarative knowledge is like, if I can tell someone the names of the techniques and specific movements, how to play a sport, and really describe and verbalize that, that's declarative knowledge. So anything that you can use words to describe and explain and verbalize, that's the biggest thing. And essentially knowing about that subject, whether it be the example that Barros used of playing the piano or using a specific sport as an example, that's declarative knowledge. And then procedural knowledge is really just the thing that allows you to do the skill. So you can't really describe it, but you can do the skill. So that's what matters most. And essentially those are the two differences between declarative and procedural knowledge and how they can be defined. Really just comes down to what we are able to describe versus having the experience or being able to perform that skill. So those are the difference between the two.